Ladies and gentlemen, today I have the pleasure to welcome under the human rights tree, Ms. Misty Soderholm. She is the manager and co-founder of the SoderWorld Wellness Center and Academy. Ms. Nesty, thank you very much for joining me under the human rights tree.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
So you have a center, Wellness Center and Academy, and there is a name, Soda World. What is the meaning behind the name?
Yeah, it actually kind of started as a joke. The family was sitting around the table and we were throwing around ideas for names. And somebody said SoderWorld, and we kind of joked about it like Disney World. And then we thought about some other names and then just kept coming back to SoderWorld because our last name is Soderholm. So it was kind of a play off of our name. And my dad said, well, if Disney can do it with Disney World, we can do it with SoderWorld. So it kind of stuck. It started out as a joke and then ended up sticking, and we never changed it.
I see. Soda Home. What is the
Soderholm is our last name. It's
your
Swedish.
yeah? Can you elaborate a little bit about that name?
Yeah, we have a
Where the name
Swedish
come from?
heritage,
Mm,
and it's actually pronounced Soder, but a lot of people had problems pronouncing it. So my dad used to play professional baseball.
okay,
So when he played baseball, they would announce his name and would always mess up the pronunciation. So he decided to make it a little bit easier for people. Instead of having that Swedish kind of accent to it, we just went to Soderholm to make it easy for people to pronounce. But it's a Swedish heritage, traditionally pronounced Soder.
so did you basically Americanize the name?
Yes,
Is it
basically to make it easier to pronounce. Yes.
okay? Soda Home, Soda World. Where is it located? Mm,
We're in the southwest suburbs of Chicago. It's
mhm.
called Willowbrook, Illinois. So we're right off of I-55 and Kingery Highway. We're our building literally when you go on Route 83, you pass this big A-frame log cabin, so you can't miss it.
I see. When did you start? You know, often people have ideas, and some people have the courage to work through their ideas and make it into reality. Other people may have ideas and never make them happen. So when you come to your center, it became a reality. There was an idea. Can you just take us in that process when the idea was born, and what was the journey to put it into place?
Yeah. It's quite an interesting journey. I actually started when I was young. I went to University of Arizona when fresh out of high school, and originally was going to study international business. I spoke French and took French and went to France for a whole summer and was going to go that route. And then unfortunately, I got sick when I was at the university and ended up in the hospital with pneumonia and mononucleosis.
Mm,
And with that, the pneumonia cleared up fairly quick, but with the mono, they tell you that it's months of healing and just sleeping, basically. They don't really give you any other option for mono other than to sleep and build your immune system back up. So back then, I was laying there in my bed and thought, there's got to be something else I can do. My parents had brought me back from Arizona, back home to Chicago. So I'm laying in my bed, and something just popped in my head to just research, just look. And back then, we didn't have obviously the access that we have now to information. So it was a little bit harder
mm,
to research these things back in the 90s. This was back in 1994-ish, in that range. So not a lot of information out. So I was able to find acupuncture and Reiki and all these things that I could do to kind of speed the process up. I couldn't do massage yet because that didn't allow, it was too much for the body at that point for mono. So I had to do all the things that were very gentle and more energetic. So I kind of fell into that through being sick.
mm,
And then I fell upon Deepak Chopra. I don't know if you've heard of Deepak Chopra. He's kind
mm.
of a new age guru, spiritual, kind of new
Mm,
age, self-help book kind of person. But back then he was very, very new. And I fell upon one of his seminars that he was having in California called Seduction of Spirit. And I was still sick at the time, wasn't supposed to fly, but I begged my mom. I said, Mom,
mm,
please, I'm feeling drawn to this seminar. I really need to go. So she flew with me out to California, and that seminar completely changed my life. It's got me to look at how my thoughts create, how stresses affect my body, taking care of myself, just my eating habits. It opened my world to all of these things of how I created my sickness. So I was
mm,
like, oh, wait a minute, it was a slap in the face. And if I created it, then I can also heal it. And I had a couple really profound moments out there at that seminar. And a sound healing being one of them by a man named Phil Jones, who plays the didgeridoo, the big long Aboriginal instrument. He did a healing on me during that session, and that was my first experience, and it just blew my mind. So when I got back from that, that's when my whole life changed. And I started looking into massage schools and started saying, how do I get into this world? What do I need to do? And went to my doctor and had blood work done. And within about 3 weeks of me getting home and being diagnosed, I was cleared. He said my white
mm,
blood cells count went back up, that everything looked great. And they told me 3 to 4 months. They told me I'd be out the entire summer, to not do anything. I mean, it was bad. And to come back 3 weeks later and the doctor asked me, what did you do? And then I started to tell him, and I said, I think I found what I want to do for the rest of my life. So it's kind of one of those moments like, that's what I did. I found my passion. I found what I want to do. And then all of a sudden, everything just started being synchronistic and lining up, and my body was healing. And I started massage school right away and started school here in Chicago, and then ironically found a training, an Ayurveda training that Deepak Chopra, the woman who was running his therapy center of his new center that he was opening out there. She was running an Ayurveda training, a Panchakarma training, which is basically all Ayurveda is the science of life of India. And Panchakarma is all the detox treatments within that lifestyle. So it was to learn as a massage therapist how to do all these treatments. So I, again, talked to my family, flew out to California, started to learn the Panchakarma treatments, therapies, and me and the instructor really vibed. And she asked if I wanted to move to California and work at Deepak Chopra's Center for Wellbeing, that they were just going to open the doors in a month. And I was 19, 20 at the time, or yeah, like 19, not even 20 yet.
mm,
So I jumped on the opportunity and said yes. So then I stopped school here, transferred out there, finished my massage schooling in San Diego, started working at the Chopra Center. And I really looked at it more as an internship and learned everything I could about Ayurveda and absorbed myself out in California because it's a totally different world out there. Chicago Midwest is very technical, medical. So I was very glad I had that side of it. And California is very esoteric, energy work, is a lot more spiritual. So I really had the best of both worlds, which was nice. And so I invited my family to come out there after 2 years. And they went and got services at the Chopra Center. And we all sat down at my kitchen table. And really, from a thought of us basically sitting there saying, or me basically telling my dad, hey, I think we need to do this in Chicago. I think I want to bring this back home. And there's
mm,
nothing like this. Back in the mid 90s, there was nothing. So we were one of the first wellness centers. So it really came from that thought at my dinner table in San Diego
mm,
of us saying, hey, we need to do this in Chicago. And then we just started brainstorming ideas. Well, what would it look like? What would we want to have there? All of that. And so they basically offered to invest in me and in SoderWorld if I would move back home and start the business here. So that's kind of how it all started. And it was definitely a family support system that made it happen because there's no way I could have done it on my own. And we started in a strip mall. So we had about 1,000 square feet in a strip mall. And then the person next to us went out of business. And then we went to 2,000 square feet and so on, then 3,000 square feet. And then
mm,
ironically, my dad said to the landlord, because the landlord wanted to raise the rent again, and he says to the landlord, well, we could build a place for what you're charging us. And the landlord said, go ahead. So we were like, huh, okay, well, I guess he's calling our bluff. And there was a lot of synchronicities that happened for
Yeah.
us to find the property that we found. It was
Okay.
a client that came in, and her husband was a real estate agent, and he was like, oh, hey, there's this property down the road, and it was on MapQuest back then. I mean, just a lot of that story is a long story to go into, but a very
Yeah.
synchronistic story of this property that we're now currently on that we literally fell onto.
Okay.
And the guy was moving to Florida, wanted to kind of just get out of it. We got it for a really great deal. And then we built the A-frame log cabin on the property that we're on now. So
Okay.
that building itself that you see behind me
Mm.
was not there before. So that was all basically.
Look nice by the way. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, it was inspired by our grandfather. My dad's dad was
Okay.
a woodworker,
Mm.
and so he built doll houses for many, I mean, most of his life.
Mm.
And the A-frame inspiration is for him in honor of him because most of his doll houses were all A-frame.
Okay. We see a beautiful picture behind you. Can you just take us through the building? How many
Okay.
rooms and
Oh yeah.
what is,
So
you know, just take us in that journey getting into the building and what are the room and what are
yeah,
the room
yeah.
for?
So we're on about 2.5 acres close, and about two of the acres are all beautiful gardens. So you can see kind of some of it lit up behind me and the bridge that's there. So anybody can come and walk the property at any time during our business hours.
Mhm.
And we have donation boxes out there, so we appreciate the donations, but it is free to just come walk and see the property. We have swans back there.
Mhm.
There's a koi pond. There's multiple places to sit and meditate. There's a whole walking path, a labyrinth. So the outdoor gardens, a waterfall even, are just beautiful. So even if somebody didn't go in the building and they just came, they could come and just walk the property as well. But in the building, we have 3 levels. The top floor, which is our loft, is basically our retail area. So it's all spiritual gifts, incense, crystals, you name it. Anything spiritual is up there, and we are proud to say that it's all local artists. Everyone that we support is from the Chicagoland or surrounding areas. Actually, we do have artwork even from artists in Peru and stuff as well. But none of it is big corporate bought anything. Everything is from actual local people.
I see.
And then we have an office upstairs, and then also on the other side, there's what's called the quantum healing room. Synchronicity wave systems. We have that system up in that room, and it's based on light and sound healing. And it's a room that you can go into that also has an ion shower in it, and it has the synchronicity wave systems going. And you can also listen to meditations while you're in there. So it's kind of like our quantum healing relaxation lounge, so to speak,
Mm.
that people can go in. And that's all upstairs. Then on the main floor, we have probably 10 treatment rooms on the main floor. Don't quote me on that though. I mean, it's right around that. It's right around 10. And that includes massage rooms, facial room, chiropractic rooms. We also have on our main floor our main yoga room. So the building you see behind me with kind of the blue windows, that
Yes.
looks into our main yoga room. So that's our yoga room back there. I mean, we call it a yoga room, but honestly, it's like our sanctuary room. There's a lot of things that happen in that room, yoga just being one of them. But it is our main classroom, so to speak. And that's all main floor. And then once you go down to the lower level, then we have a salt cave that's down there. It fits about 8 people into the salt cave. Then we also have a secondary classroom downstairs. And then it's like a big U shape, really. And then there's more treatment rooms down there where we do couples massage, energy work sessions. There's a little sound healing room down there. And then we also have a infrared sauna. So people will either before or after their sessions, kind of depending on what they want, can also utilize the infrared sauna as well. So yeah, I mean, just a lot. We probably have about 30 different types of massage.
Mhm.
There's chiropractic, all different types of facial, some body wraps, hypnosis, and all kinds of energy work that we do. Yeah, I mean it's a lot. Honestly, the best thing is really to probably go to our website, which is easy, just solderworld.com,
I see.
and it has everything there. But we really, I wanted to be, when we originally talked about it, I really wanted it to be a one-stop shop. I wanted it to be a place where there's a little bit for everybody because what I found over the years was that different things work for different people. So
Yes,
just because that sound healing didgeridoo worked for me doesn't mean that it's going to work for the next person. So you really have to try different things to see what your body responds well to. So I really wanted a place that had a little bit of everything that people could try and see, find out what works for them.
I see. SoderWorld.
Mhm.
I see through your logo, the motto indicated body, mind, and spiritual sanctuary. Can
Yes.
you take us to those three dimensions of your work?
Yeah, so we feel at SoderWorld that it's all three, that it's body, mind, spirit. Unfortunately, in this world, a lot of people just focus on the body. They're very physical, work out all the time,
Mhm.
but don't know how to handle their emotions and have no spiritual connection, and then wonder why they're still sick. So it's really important, we feel, to make sure that you're healing all three, which is body, mind, and spirit. Body meaning physically, eating the right foods, drinking the right things, exercising, moving your body, whether it's yoga or qigong. There's a lot of physical things that you can do. And then mind, learning how to calm your emotions. We have lots of even group therapy, like talking circles that we have. We have men's circles, women's circles. Um, Prayer circles, like all kinds of stuff where people can come and have an outlet to talk as well, and even get counseling, hypnosis, and things like that for the mind. Even just walking the garden, learning how to meditate, all those things are part of the mind. And then the spirit part being your connection to source and whatever that is for you. We do honor all religions. We're non-dogmatic, so we feel it's whatever feels good for you in your heart. We're not here to preach to you or tell you what to believe. We're here to just support you on your journey and find what works for you in your heart. And so that's kind of the spiritual side, is connecting to your own spirit, your own heart, and then finding a connection to something higher, something greater, and letting that guide you through your life. And so when you can connect those three, that body, mind, spirit, that's when I feel you are fully healthy. And are functioning well. I mean, I just turned 50 actually,
Happy
a week ago.
birthday.
Yeah, thank you. About a week ago, and people all the time are like, we can't believe that you're 50. And really, it's a
By
testament.
the way, you look younger.
Yeah, it's a testament to this profession, really,
Yeah.
because I've been in it since I was 19. So I was exposed to healthy eating,
Mm.
meditation, all that kind of stuff from a young age. So it kind of just carried with me. And I really feel that that's why I still feel and look young, is because I do the whole body, mind, spirit thing is part of it. You have to really, I don't, in my head, I'm not telling myself I'm old. I'm not telling myself I'm 50, So
Mm.
it's all of that. I take care of myself physically, but then also mentally too. I'm making sure I know how much my thoughts create. And so
Mm.
when people ask me, I'm like, I'm 50 years young. I'm not
Yeah.
50 years old. I'm 50 years young. Uh,
Yes.
yeah. So that's
Is
kind of
a,
the whole body,
I feel
mind,
like
spirit.
it's a mindset. You
Absolutely.
have to draw your own picture
Yes.
through life. Basically, if I really understand your journey, is through a personal experience of being ill,
Yes.
and you were seeking to be healthy, and through that process, you find your life calling,
Yes.
and you end up creating. Um, I think it's not you were not I can say selfish. Many people will say I went through a process, I'm healthy, so I'm going to keep, but you wanted to share your story and open up for other people to discover another ways of being healthy.
Yes.
Usually people come to your um, center, they knock at your door. What kind of problem they want to resolve? because has
Oh
you and
gosh.
sometimes it's hard.
Everything.
Yeah. So would
Yeah.
you mind just this behind it being deep, but share few cases where people come and they need your help, and what do you do to help them?
Yeah, honestly, it's a huge variety. We've had many people kind of at their last end, where they don't know where else to go. And so they come because they're at that point of kind of no return. And I've seen some beautiful transformations out of people that literally you wouldn't recognize now from when they first came. And a lot of that, not even necessarily from the massage or body work, like healing stuff, just from attending the classes and being part of the ceremonies and the circles and getting to know a community that loves you and supports you and not feeling so alone in this chaos. So a lot of it of what we're doing is really just creating community support for people where they feel a safe space that they can come and just be themselves and cry if they need to cry or talk and just find people that are willing to listen and help. So I would say a lot of more so recently, it's been a lot more mental for
Okay.
people just
Mm,
because I think the state of the world, what we've all gone through with COVID, it's a lot. It's a lot for people to handle mentally. So I definitely feel in the last 5 years, it's definitely been more mental stuff that people have come with. But
mm,
overall, I mean, we've had people with cancer, we've had people healing from surgeries, I mean, our chiropractor sees people all the time in pain. A lot of times people just come for relaxation too and might just get a massage to relax because we do like women's parties too and corporate gigs where they, bring their employees there for like a
mm.
day retreat. So we kind of do all kinds of stuff, but ultimately, most people that come to our doors are seeking some kind of help, whether it's physically, they're just tired and hurting, or mentally, they're at their wits' end and need somebody to talk to, or spiritually need that spiritual connection. Again, we really have all of that. So we get a pretty wide range of people that show up at our door.
I see. Let's go to the very specific, like for instance, somebody come with body issues.
Mhm.
What are the process of diagnostic, for instance? How do you differentiate if somebody have a mind or spiritual or body? And if the person have a body issue, what are the steps you're taking very to help him heal or help her heal in the body wise? And what are the advice can you don't want the person to be dependent on you. You want to help the person and encourage the person to do things in the future that will help you. What are the advice often you give to people in body in a healthy having a healthy body?
Right. Ultimately, all healing is self-healing. So, we are all just instruments for that healing, and
Yeah.
it's really the work that the person needs to do within to truly heal. But if someone came and wasn't sure what to do, where to go, what to start with, I do what's called just a wellness consultation, where I can take somebody for an hour, talk to them about their life, what's going on with them, and be able to direct them at least what I think would be their best options. Depending on if they're dealing with something more physically, mentally, spiritually, there might be certain classes that I recommend. I might actually recommend them to go see the chiropractor if it's something more physical and like alignment based that I think it will help. Sometimes it's just they need a massage or they need some just energy healing. Sometimes it can be as simple as that. They need a little self-care. But for the most part, I really have to get to know the person and because everybody's different. Everybody's
Yes.
so different, and everybody's likes and preferences are different. So even though somebody might be dealing with the same physical ailment, I might still recommend two totally different things for them, depending on how I think their body would respond to it. So, yeah, a lot of that just depends. So the wellness consults help to direct somebody where to go. But
Mm,
ultimately, if they just came to the front desk or called the front desk, our wellness coordinators at the front are very good at helping talking people through what to look for. So if somebody just called and said, "Hey, my neck is hurting, what should I do?" The person at the front desk is trained very well to be able to talk that person or lead them also in the right direction. But if it's a little more severe case or something where it's a little bit more complex, then they'll usually send them to me and do a wellness consult and be able to direct them with some other things. But a lot of times, even just our classes and workshops are the
mm,
way to go because it's going to open you up to how to breathe, like our breath and sound on Tuesday nights that my brother does. It's all learning about breath work and how to breathe and control your breath. And then you get a sound healing after. So it's like the best of both worlds because you're learning how to breathe properly and you're getting vibrational healing in the same night. So even just coming to say one of those classes or one of the circles to be able to talk and express yourself, sometimes you don't even need the body therapy,
yeah.
you know?
Mm,
So it just really depends on each person.
I see. Often, when it comes to the body, it's quite, we can say, is much easier because you know what is hurting and
Yes.
you can point it out. But I learned through experience dealing with the mind is more complex. And when people are having um, mental or self-esteem issues and all, or they have a lot of stress mentally, how do you help them? Because do you think your training allow you really to guide them to where they should go?
Yes. I believe one of the most important things for the mind is the breath
Okay.
and meditation as well. Those two things have really carried me through and being able to deal with all of that. And even my brother, I can speak for him on that as well. Breath work is what healed him and saved him too. So if you can control your breath, you can control your life. And that's my motto with that because ultimately, even when you're dealing with anxiety or worry, our breath is the first thing that reacts to our emotions. So when we're fearful, what do? We hold, you get scared and your breath is involved, or you get nervous and you start to hyperventilate. So it's like our
Mm.
breath is our first reaction to our emotions. So if you can take control of that and you're in, say, a state where you're hyperventilating or it's a panic state, and you can close your eyes for a moment and take a few deep belly breaths and recenter yourself, it'll change you instantly. So, I definitely think that breath work and learning how to meditate is I think the best thing for the mind because if
So,
you can't calm your mind,
mm,
you're gonna have a really hard time calming your anxiety and your fears and your worries and all that. So you have to be able to learn how to center.
yeah, you say controlling your breath. What are
Mhm.
the technique you use to control your breath?
Oh
Because
gosh, there's hundreds, there's thousands
can you
of
share a few?
Um, honestly, your most simple, basic belly breath. Most people breathe into their chest. You go to the doctor and they tell you to take a deep breath, and what do people do? They do that. That's not a
Yes.
deep, that's a chest breath. So
Oh,
deep breath
okay.
into the belly. So we have to be able to drop our breath down into the diaphragm and the belly in order to allow our lungs to expand, to be able to take in more oxygen, and really feel the breath in the entire body. It has to be a belly breath. So that is always where I start with people is learning how to breathe into the belly instead of the chest. But there are thousands of
Okay.
pranayamas of breath techniques out there. So,
I see.
yeah, that's a whole nother podcast.
As you indicated, body, mind, why spirit, and why SoderWorld is a sanctuary?
Yeah, yeah, spirit is essential. I mean, that's ultimately what we are at our core, right? I mean, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So,
Mhm.
if we don't connect to that and we're just these, humans in survival mode and all the time, you forget where you came from. You forget, that it's a blessing to be down here on earth. It's a blessing that we were given this gift to live out life and kind of play this game of life. So, it's important to keep that connection to spirit. And I also think that having that connection to source or spirit or that universal energy that connects us all, it brings us together more. It makes us realize that we are all the same and we are all one and we all came from the same stars that, you came from and my brother came, it's like we are all one and we're all the same. So ultimately, I feel like connecting with that spiritual side helps you to connect to all, to connect to your own heart, and to really trust that you're being guided. That, I mean, I truly believe that even SoderWorld was our family's mission. Like there was no stopping it. There all the synchronicities that had to happen to make it happen, me getting sick. I mean, even just looking back on the whole story, all those pieces of the puzzle that had to go in alignment to be where we are right now is pretty magical. And it's
It's
hard to deny that that wasn't some kind of divinely guided
mm,
intervention in all of it. So to me, the spirit part is huge, and I feel I connect every day. I feel guided every day that we are on a mission and a path to just walk each other home.
yeah,
To
yeah.
really just be there for each other and try to help change the world and make it a better place.
Truly share the idea. Despite sometimes we have that confidence, we are the one who's leading the journey. But personally, I believe in many ways there is above uh, somebody leading us. People call it God, other people call it whatever they want to call it. But there is, uh, you know, a guidance that take us in the right path and guide us in the journey, like you say, going back home.
Yeah.
Um, the journey from a 19 years old to a 50 years old woman, it has been a journey. It has been a long time.
Mhm.
Yes, I don't know if I did really ask the question, but can you give us a specific date? When did you open? When did you went through the idea, you went through the challenges of the ideas, and you put everything into place. And one day you open the keys to the door of SoderWorld, and right now is functioning. Basically, can you take us what is the birthday of SoderWorld? When the door
It
was
was
opened?
November of 1997 was when we
Okay,
got the keys to the strip mall.
okay,
Uh, so November 1st was technically like, our the start of our lease for that.
okay,
By the
okay,
time we moved in, it was probably a couple weeks after that. But November of 1997 was in the strip mall, and we were in there for about 5 years. And
okay.
that's when the landlord, like I said, had kind of like called our bluff on
Challenge.
and then we
Mm.
built the building behind me, SoderWorld, in
Yeah.
2004. And then we
Okay.
actually moved in that space in 2004. So
Mm.
come 2027 will be 30 years for
Oh,
us.
30 years. During
Yeah.
30 years, I assume you witnessed beautiful experiences, but in some time you faced a lot of challenges. Can you take us to those challenges you faced with your center, and what were you able to do to overcome those challenges?
Yeah, we have kind of a running joke at the facility that they all tell me I need to write a book on the adventures of SoderWorld or have like a sitcom or some kind of like TV show or something. Because I mean, I need to stop saying it because I'm probably the one creating it, but it's always
So
something,
you are the
always
troublemaker.
an adventure. Yes. So yeah, we've had a lot of challenges just from, your basic business stuff, employee stuff and trying to keep everybody happy to
Mm,
again maybe some not so great things happening with people that have come to your center and you thought were doing good and getting help and then all of a sudden they relapse or something and then so like we've had instances like that too that can take you on an emotional roller coaster because you really love your community and ultimately we want everyone to thrive and get better but sometimes those things happen as well. We've actually had a couple floods in our building. We just
mm,
recently, this past year in January, had a fire sprinkler pipe burst in the building, and it flooded all three floors. So
I see.
we had a big insurance claim, and it was quite a few months of repair and restoration. But we are back, and everything is officially, and it ended up being a blessing, honestly. Even though it was a lot of work and a lot of flood damage, we got a lot of new things out. Like our infrared sauna had to get replaced, so we got a brand new infrared sauna. So like we're able to see the blessings out of some of these hardships as
The
well.
challenges. I see.
Yeah, so that's kind of how we look at it. Is I try to. I remember right after the flood had happened, and I came upstairs, and one of the front desk girls was up there, and I was smiling and kind of like laughing, and she's like, "I can't believe you're able to laugh right now," and I'm like, "Well, if I don't laugh, I'm gonna cry." So it's like I'm gonna pick one or the other. So I have to just laugh about it and be like, "All right, universe, haha. All right, let's move on. Like the very funny. Let's like get through this,
Yeah,
you know."
things
Uh,
happen for a reason.
yeah, yeah, and ultimately it really did. It really did because we had been talking about wanting to get a new sauna, and we had to end up
Okay.
replacing a lot of floors in the room that were the floors were old, you know. So it
Yeah,
was an upgrade with us having to go through kind of some crap to get to the upgrade, but it all worked out wonderful in the end. So
I
even through
see.
all these challenges, we even had a story where I had to do CPR on a woman in the back of our property, and she almost died on our property, and was able
Mm,
to save her and bring her back. And about a year later, she came and returned to the property, and I was able to hug her and just embrace. And so things like that, where those are the beautiful moments where you have these challenges like that and things that you go
mm,
through, but then ultimately, in the end, I would say 99% of them end up beautiful.
I see. Often when people come to seek for your help, they may have expectations. Um, During your interactions and your experience, do you think your center was able to fulfill all those expectations? If it's not the case, why you will not be able to help some people who needed your services?
Yeah, I try not to have too much expectations. I've
Mm,
learned because expectations lead to disappointment. So I try to just kind of, be in the moment. But as far as our clients go, I do think that we meet expectations pretty well. I mean, we're going to have those moments where you can't make everybody happy. There are just
yeah.
some people, no matter what you do, you just can't make them happy, and that's their space that they're in.
Mm,
So I would say majority, again, 90 to 95% of the people that walk through that door feel great and are happy that they're there and would recommend us to other people. So yeah, I feel good about that and about what we offer to others
mm,
and them getting their needs met. Again, everybody's needs are so different. So it's really about them finding what works for them and going more that route.
okay.
But yeah, it's been great. So far, so good. Most of our feedback is great.
What I often learn when people are doing what they love and their job is not just a job, is a purpose. You want to do something that is unique. You don't want to be a photocopy. So how SoderWorld is different from other wellness centers? Because I felt like from a 19 years old young girl, you went through a lot of learning process. You traveled to California and you went through, and you wanted to come up with a unique idea. So what differentiates you from other centers?
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that we're really proud of is how unique we are. We get people that come from Colorado and even California and say there's nothing like this even out there. So our family is very, very proud of what we've created, and we strive on making it unique. So even the gardens, when you walk through the gardens, pretty much every part of the garden is very unique and was handmade or hand done by one of us or a community member. So a lot of our heart and soul is put into this place, and you can feel it. You can absolutely feel it when you come there. It's a family. It feels like a home that you're coming into. And so Uh, there are times where it can get a little frustrating because now there are wellness centers and yoga studios and massage places on every corner. The corporate world, massage envies and places like that have kind of jumped in on the train. And so I could say, done a little disservice to our industry. But for the most part, we've been able to survive all of that. We survived COVID. We survived all of the, 30 years of this profession coming from not even being recognized. I mean, I was back in it when chiropractic wasn't even accepted by insurance.
Mm,
Chiropractic was still kind of considered woo-woo, so they didn't accept it back then. They didn't even have massage licensing back when I was doing it either. I was one of the first people grandfathered in Illinois to the massage licensing. So to see where it was to where it's come to now is amazing, and it's just blows my mind how far we've come.
mm.
But in that light, there's also saturation that happens, right? Because then everybody jumps on and then they're on every corner. But again, I feel like with our integrity, with our family and our reputation that we've had for so long, we've been able to survive all of that and get through. So I look at imitation as flattery now. Like it used to irritate me before when people would imitate what we do or try to copy things or copy classes and workshops. But now again, I have to just smile and laugh and just be flattered by it, I suppose. But yeah, I think we're unique enough that it sets us apart, just our building, all the things that we offer, our grounds, the people that are there, everything about the place is just very special and yeah, truly a sanctuary.
As you're going through this journey, and one day the journey will end, do you have that idea that SoderWorld should end with you, or you see a future behind you when you come to
Ooh,
SoderWorld?
that's a good question.
Yeah,
Um, I would love to see it continue. I really would. It's been such a legacy that I think could be carried on. My oldest child actually does massage and aesthetics and is in this world a little bit, does a little work out of SoderWorld as well. But my two youngest kids don't have any interest in what I do, so I don't see either one of them taking it over at any point. It's possible that my oldest does and kind of keeps it going. But ultimately, me and my family are in it for the long haul.
mm,
I've gone in and out of wanting to sell it over the years. When you've hit those kind of really rough points and you get overwhelmed, and we call it compassion fatigue when you give so much and so much that you just get tired, and you get tired of helping people and being so compassionate all the time. It definitely can take a toll on you. So
mm.
there were moments where I wanted to sell and had talked to the family about it, and we decided there's always that one person, right when you're ready to sell that comes through and be like, "You changed my life," and Alfred, and you're like, "Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, okay, we'll keep doing it." So we've kept with it and stuck with it, and do I hope it continues? Absolutely. We are in the process of building a pavilion in the back of the property as well, over where our labyrinth is. So that way we have a big enclosed structure out in the back property to do more workshops, classes, concerts, all kinds of stuff. And we can do it in the winter time as well. So yeah, we're actually doing expansion now, so as we speak. So
I see.
I don't see us stopping anytime soon.
Usually, when you do this kind of work, you are always learning, and in one of the way of learning is to invite guests, or people who work in that field. How is your relations with those people who are in the same field, and do you invite them to come speak, and how do you organize those kind of event?
Yeah, so I do have a couple people that work for me that help with class scheduling, speakers, vendors, all that kind of stuff. So we have an email address called classes@soderworldwellness.com that anybody that's interested in presenting or doing a workshop, even just being a vendor selling some of their items in the retail shop, they can send an email to that email address and just tell us who they are, are interested in doing, a little description of what they would like to share with the community. And we usually get back to them. And there's a little like Google template that they fill out that gives us an idea of what they're looking to do. And then we kind of just go from there. Biggest thing is scheduling. We have a lot going on at the center all the time, and we schedule months out ahead of time. So it's not something that someone could just come and, oh, I want to teach tomorrow. It's something that's got to be planned out months ahead of time. And that way we can advertise it to our community too and give more time to get more people in. So yes, we do open up to people outside of the community, but we do also that as much as we can. So yeah, that's pretty much it's fairly easy to be able to teach there if you wanted to.
You talk about your community. How's your community look like?
Oh gosh, all kinds of people. It's very eclectic,
Mm,
very gosh, from really young to really old, from all walks of life, all belief systems, all races, all I mean, it's a really, really eclectic group.
I see. If somebody wants your services, how are they going to, what the process they should take basically to reach out, and how can they do that? Mm,
Yeah, so our website is the best resource. That's
mm,
the SoderWorldWellness.com or SoderWorld.com. Both of those go to the same thing.
mm,
SoderWorld.com is probably easier. It's SoderWorld.com.
mm.
And that has everything on there from our services, classes, and it gets updated pretty much daily. So everything is up to date on there. We also have Facebook page. They can follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. We pretty much post daily on those too as well with upcoming classes. They
Okay,
can also on our website request to be on the email list and then get on the email list. And we don't spam people a lot. It's one a week that you get that gives you basically updates on all the classes and things that are coming up for that week. So it's basically a weekly email that'll keep them updated too. So you can do all that through the website as well. Otherwise, they can just stop in. Stop in anytime. You can get a tour of the place. You can try out the salt cave or the quantum room. You can walk the gardens at any time. So there's a lot of things that people can do where they don't necessarily need an appointment. They can walk. I mean, we recommend appointments obviously for those things, but you could walk in on a particular day and maybe just have to wait a little bit if you wanted to get in the salt cave. So you can just stop by as well. And my dad, we call him Papa, Eric Soderholm. He's the one who used to play baseball for the White Sox. He
okay,
is, especially when it's nice out, he's out in the gardens all the time and loves when people come to stop by and visit him. And he loves doing coaching sessions with people for free. He likes to just talk to people.
I
So at
see.
any time, if anybody's feeling down and low and just needs somebody to talk to or needs a shoulder to vent to, we're there.
I see. Often, this was my last question, but something come to my mind, and I would like to share it anyway and see your perspective on that matter. People often have misconceptions related to related to wellness centers and yogis and things. How
Mhm.
do you deal with those misconceptions, and what SADA can do to help, enlighten people about wellness centers? Because sometimes people say, if you get sick, you should definitively go to the hospital. Is the where the science, and you,
Yeah.
in your case, you were able to rely on other techniques, on other
Yeah.
method to heal. From 19, and today you are 50 years old woman, healthy,
Yeah.
bodily, mindly, and spiritually. So, what can you share in broad views on those people who have those misconceptions? How's the last question?
Yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions for sure.
Mm,
I've dealt with them a lot over the 30 years, from like, okay, you're going to hell because you teach yoga to, oh, don't go against your medical doctor. Yeah, so yeah, I've definitely have dealt with a lot of that stuff. And for me, it's all about finding what works for you and what feels good in your heart. And I don't definitely don't I'm not against Western medicine. I'm not like none of that. I absolutely go to your doctor, get diagnoses, but just know that there's more you can do. There's absolutely more than what they are trained on that can also help to heal. And ultimately, try both, or
Yes.
if you tried one and the one doesn't work, then try the other. What else do you have to lose? So it's one of those things where truly feel that you have to trust in your heart what you feel is right. So if your doctor's telling you something and it just doesn't feel right in your heart, you have to
Mm.
listen to that. Or if your body's telling you, hey, you know what, I think a parasite cleanse would be better. Or, oh, hey, I think energy healing might be better. Or, hey, I need to get my mind right. And then, there's a lot of different avenues to take to healing. So I
Mm.
think taking those initial steps, and once you start to take those steps kind of in our wellness world, you don't really want to look back
I
because you
see.
realize a lot of what was being done was maybe making you worse or more sick or not really helping that much. I mean, I hate to say it, but being sick is a big business for people. So, a lot of people don't want people to get well without
I
naming
see.
those people.
I
We
see.
want people to get well. So ultimately, whatever that is for that person and however we can lead you, we're just going to give you the options. We're just going to show you what's out there, share with you what's worked for us. And if that person chooses to do it and try it, great. Obviously, with their doctor's permission, we would recommend that for sure. But there are people that have tried everything and have tried all the stuff the doctors have done and have tried everything, and this is like their last hope. So
I
I just
see.
hope, my wish is that people just don't wait for it to be their last hope. There's ways to do both at the same time. There's ways to still do self-care and maybe go through a medical treatment at the same time.
I see.
And I think a lot of it is up here too. If the doctor diagnoses you with something, a lot of people look at it as their death sentence. So right away, they're in their head about, oh, I'm going to die now. I'm going to die now. And you're constantly telling yourself that every day. That's not good for your psyche. That's not good for your mental part. So are you living with cancer or are you dying from cancer? So I think a lot of it's a matter of like your perception and how you're looking at things. And no, I choose to live with it and do all the things that I can do to give myself the best quality of life that I can living with it. And not take it as like, oh, I'm dying from this. And then because you tell yourself that enough, and that's what's going to happen. So, yeah, I believe there's a way for us to work together. I really wish the Western medicine accepted our beliefs at least wellness field a little bit more than they do. Some are getting better, but for
Mm.
the most part, if we get people well, they don't make money. So,
Yeah.
it's a catch-22 in a sense.
Basically, you are saying there are different paths to health. Basically, there are
Yes,
different paths, and people should be given the option to explore all the paths
exactly.
to getting healthy. Um, I keep saying is my last question, but there is something that
Go ahead, go ahead.
come to my mind. So the world look like a welcoming place. You have been always saying, "Well, people are welcome. Well, people are welcome."
Mhm.
But I kind of understand it should be a time frame of welcoming people. What time do you open and what time do you close, and what are the days of the week people can come and be able to talk to and ask questions and things? Just have those specific date and time
Yeah,
when,
we're open 7 days a week.
or seven
Uh,
days a week. Okay,
yeah, so we're open all 7 days. Monday through Friday, it's 9 a.m. to 8 p.m.
I see.
In the summertime, because it gets dark later, we do
Mm,
allow people to walk through the gardens till
mm,
like dusk.
oh,
Once it starts to get dark, unless we have a special event, because
mm,
the back gardens are lit up at night. But that's more for kind of private special events. We don't usually let people back there a lot in the evening time because there's no supervision. So usually 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then Saturdays and Sundays we're open 10 to 5. But we do allow, again, because it's nicer out in the summer, the
mm,
gardens will be open after the building closes at 5. Again, usually till about dusk, we're okay with people walking through. But pretty soon, we're actually, when we build the pavilion, we'll be getting a full fencing around the entire property. And so
Mhm.
then you'd have to be a little bit more specific on times that people can come. But right now, pretty much 7 days a week, we're open. And as long as the gate is open, people are welcome to walk any time between that time frame.
Miss Mi- Miss Misty, um, manager and co-founder of SoderWorld Wellness Center and Academy. Thank you very much for taking your time and thank you for sharing about your organization. I wish all the best in your work and I hope the future you will be able one day to hand it to somebody so the work continue. It
Absolutely.
was really a blessing having you under the human rights tree and thank you very much for sharing with us.
I feel the same. It was a blessing. Thank you so much for having me as well. I really appreciate you.
Oh, God bless you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.